Let's get right into this. This is basically emergency message EM-24061, specifically released from the Social Security Administration, pertaining to essentially a massive nationwide case, which is about the Campos settlement. Just to give you a quick background, the United States District Court in the Eastern District of New York approved a nationwide class action settlement agreement in the case of Campos v. Kijakazi. Campos is the individual that was harmed, the recipient, the beneficiary, and then, of course, Kijakazi was the prior commissioner before Martin O'Malley. Let's get right into this because I actually have to get to a private session, which is where people pay me for an hour of time at 12 noon. So I want to get right into this thing. All right, look it up, read along if you want. Here's the bottom line. Retention date. This will be good from basically 12/9/24, so this got passed just a couple of days ago, to 6/9/25. Purpose. The purpose of this emergency message is to provide instructions for answering inquiries related to the Campos settlement. This instruction is the second of several that technicians will receive about the Campos settlement. The first instruction is in EM-24005, revision, COVID-19, circumstances and overpayment waiver determinations. We will continue to provide additional instructions as we implement the provisions of the settlement agreement. Just to be clear, I'm reading to you an emergency message that's supposed to be sent to basically the intended audience, local field offices, RCs, FOs, TSCs, WSUs, all the offices of the FSA. When I sometimes read this stuff to you guys and you're like, I don't know what the hell that is, that's because this portion of it, the actual emergency message, is an internal document meant for specifically Social Security Administration offices. So if you're like, oh, that's fine, this is meant for them. The next thing that I'm going to read is kind of like your more fluffy, relaxed, how do I approach this, what does this mean document. But I'm just giving you the emergency update so you know exactly where the SSA is at as of literally a couple of days ago. Background. The United States District Court in the Eastern District of New York approved a nationwide class action settlement agreement in the case of Campos v. Kijakazi. The Campos settlement became final on January 20th, 2024, and involves Title 16 SSI overpayments incurred during the COVID-19 pandemic from March 2020 through April 2023. Responding to inquiries about the Campos litigation. Now, class members will receive notifications that they are included in the class by approximately May of 2025. Okay, so like middle-ish of May of 2025, you should be receiving notification if you were affected by this. If you receive an inquiry where an individual identifies themselves as a potential Campos class member and questions when and if they will receive a waiver or any relief under the settlement, tell the recipient. So this is what the SSA is supposed to tell you if they kind of reach out and they say, hey, I might be somebody who was injured. Quote, if you are part of the settlement class, we will notify you between February and May 2025. The notice will explain everything you need to know. If you qualify for a waiver of an overpayment under the settlement, there's nothing you need to do, and we will let you know once that waiver has been applied. Okay. That's it. No, there's more. If you have an overpayment that qualifies for a waiver under the settlement, you will likely receive the waiver by summer of 2025. You may still request a waiver of any overpayments at any time. For more information, you can visit the website at www.ssa.gov/Campos. Now, here's the thing. The SSA is not, which is actually funny, to that point, the SSA is not really great at making sure everybody in the group gets treated the same way. They're not so great at that, which is actually why they got sued and this whole claim came forward. What I would do if I were you, if you had the potential of COVID overpayment as an SSI recipient during, the COVID period, I would send in an SSA 632. I would just send one in. I would send one in. That way it puts them on notice and they put it in their little file that says this person likely is applicable to here. Go grab an SSA 632 PDF. Fill it out. If you were a potential COVID overpayment for SSI benefits during that time, I would submit that because you want to be on their list. You want them to respond to you. You want there to be something going on with it because they're not always amazing. They're not always super dope. You know what I mean? And making sure everybody is taken care of that needs to be taken care of. By the way, for those of you who are wondering how Sweetie is doing, Sweetie is doing a lot better. She's got a lot of medication in her. That's where they have to take the dog's leg, cut through the muscle wall, cut the entire bone in half, rotate the leg 5 degrees, put a bunch of hardware on it, and then basically give her back to me. It is miserable. I unfortunately hurt my intestine a little bit lifting her over and over because she's 90 pounds. She is a big girl, a very big girl, and she's adorable. I mean, absolutely absolutely very picky, kind of a bitch sometimes, adorable. So with that said, she's doing great. Now, if I look extra tired, it's because she wakes me up in the middle of the night, and then I have to go ahead and take care of her, which means take her outside by lifting her out of the cage and then taking her to go do what she needs to do. And she's very picky about food. She does not want to take her medication. We went through a phase where we had, cold cuts, totally fine, right? Then no, well, blah, blah, blah. Then we went through McDonald's burgers, totally fine. Then she's like, no, want the whole burger. Then we went through a whole burger part of it. Then we're now on Brunchfogger. Brunchfogger is like a German Jewish meaty in a roll. It's disgusting. My people come from eating that. I don't know how. But anyway, she loves it. She thinks it's stinky and amazing. So that's good. All right, let's keep rolling through this. Now, with that said, what breed is she? She's 100% bully. She's a chunky, fluffy girl. If you imagine camp, like a for girls, she would be the really big girl that thinks that she's really special and is kind of mean to everybody else. That's how I would define Sweetie. Yes, very good definition. All right, let's get to it. If the caller incurred a Title 16 overpayment for any period between March 2020 and April 2023 and wishes to request a waiver, follow instructions EM 24005, revise COVID-19 circumstances and overpayment waiver determinations. Direct all program-related and technical questions to our regional office, support staff using vHelp or Processing Center Operation Analysis. RO staff or PCOA staff may refer questions, concerns, or problems to their central office contacts. So just to be clear, this weird little, lawsuit that people are going to get money back from and stuff like underpayments, get money paid, stuff like that, all of that. Thank you, Royalty 72. I think that's Diana. Yeah. Thank you for the $1 donation. Super appreciated. So with that said, I'm going to put a little heart on that. With that said, this is all new to the SSA. The SSA is still trying to figure out what they're going to do. The field offices are basically told, go talk to your supervisors at the regional field offices. Now, let's get into what the Campos settlement actually is so you know kind of how it works, what's going on with it, okay? All right, what is the Campos settlement? The United States District Court in the Eastern District of New York approved a nationwide class action settlement agreement in the case of Campos v. Kijakazi. Thank you, Anna Hempel. Thank you. Love the little lemon person there. That's awesome. Very, very cool. She's also a member, which is awesome. With the $5 donation. Love that. Very, very cool. So with that said, the settlement became final on January 20th, 2024. And, it takes the SSA a while to kind of catch up. So the Campos settlement affects individuals who incurred supplemental security income overpayments during the COVID-19 national emergency. You may be a class member if you received a notice of an SSI overpayment for any month from March 2020 through April 2023. So that's the big period. March 2020, April 2023, anywhere in there. If something happened, bottom line, where you got an overpayment, you need to go ahead and make sure that you submit some sort of 632 just to make sure that the SSA has you on their special list to go ahead and process. Okay. Now, with that said, nothing in this settlement agreement restricts any class member's right to request individual relief in connection with any overpayment, including but not limited to a request for reconsideration, a request for waiver, or any administrative or judicial appeal thereof. If you want to do a request for waiver, it's an SSA 632 PDF. If you want to do a request for appeal, it's an SSA 561 request. And then basically, if you want to go ahead and file suit against the SSA for doing this to you and it caused you stress and stuff like that, you can always go ahead and do a civil lawsuit against the SSA. The final settlement agreement, by the way, is available at www.ssa.gov/Campos. I'll read it to you guys. We'll do a video on it. Now, what the Campos settlement means to you. For class members who incurred an SSI overpayment from March 2020 to September 2020, March of 2020 to September 2020, the Campos settlement might result if you receive a waiver without having to contact us or complete any paperwork. If we waive an overpayment, like they wipe it out, then you will not have to pay us back. So the idea is if they gave you an overpayment, they're going to say, sorry, we at the SSA were wrong about this one. Lo siento, my apologies. And then they're going to say, we waive with our magical Harry Potter wand your repayment of this waiver. Remember, they got to flick the wrist right just to get the waiver fully gone. All right, so with that said, if we waive an overpayment, then you will not have to pay us back. They use the Harry Potter wand, they give a good flick, and woof, you don't owe the money anymore. It's a good deal. I don't know any Harry Potter terms. I will learn them just for you guys at some point 10 years down the line. Let's get right to it. For all class members, SSA will mail a notice in spring 2025 to individuals who were assessed an SSI overpayment from March 2020, April 2023 regarding your right to request a waiver of any other overpayment, how to seek it, and the agency's consideration of COVID-19 related factors when deciding waiver requests. I'll do a video on it to kind of give you the buzzwords and the terms that you need to use throughout the process. So that way you're pretty good. I see Royalty gave us a $1 donation. Super good right there. Thank you. So with that said, okay, there's no need to call or visit an SSA office prior to receiving the notice. However, I would still submit an SSA 632 just to cover your bases. The agency issued guidance to its technicians regarding how to consider COVID-19 related factors when deciding waiver requests. You can see EM 24005 revision for basically those details. Relief for, and this is probably what a lot of you guys want to know right off the bat. Relief, what are you getting for individuals with certain SSI overpayments from March 2020 to September 2020. Okay, SSA, because remember, this was in Congress. They got their hands slapped on this one. Commissioner Kijakazi got a little hand slap with this one. SSA will waive SSI overpayments incurred for the months of March 2020 through September 2020 that it manually processed, meaning SSA will waive overpayments for those months except those overpayments identified through an automated process such as the Department of Veteran Affairs data matching. I'm just realizing that this article, that these prepared documents don't actually explain what happened. What happened was people got COVID stimulus money and they went above the resource limit. And then the SSA was like, whoa, SSI people, you're supposed to be poor, damn it. We're supposed to be poor. You're not supposed to have money. You're not supposed to have money in your bank account. And the stimulus obviously gave them money in their bank that pushed them over the $2,000 resource. So then automatically the SSA was like, oh, we're not going to give you a check for that month. Oh, no. You know, and you go through that whole shenanigans and Pop-Tarts. So if a class member who's eligible for a waiver has already paid back some or all the SSI overpayment described above, SSA will issue an underpayment. Okay, so this is where basically the SSA has to pay you back. Essentially, if you just to make it very clear, if you already started to pay on that COVID overpayment. Here's the deal. Bullet point 1. SSA will follow the law and its typical procedures in connection with these underpayments. Some underpayments may be used to offset other overpayments, if applicable. So just to be clear, if you have any other overpayments going on, they will, what they're supposed to give you back, they'll just keep it. You know what I mean? They'll just keep it and they'll tell the claimant, we appreciate you. You have another overpayment. Therefore, you ain't seeing no money at all. We're going to take it all, right? That's kind of what it looks like from their perspective, from the claimant's perspective, not the SSA. Next one, where applicable, SSA will provide refunds to those who qualify using the payment information we have on record. SSA will grant this relief without the class member having to take any steps or submit any application or other paperwork. SSA will send eligible class members a notice to let them know we waive their overpayment. Additionally, the SSA will not waive overpayments resulting from fraud or similar fault or involving misuse of benefits by a represented payee or that have already been reversed or waived. So in other words, if you're on the OIG list for being a bad Santa, you know what I mean? Like you were working jobs, not telling anybody, you were like, doing some under the table, having fun, little dance here, little dance there kind of gig, some moonlighting. When the sun was out kind of gig. In that instance, you're still going to have to do those overpayments, okay? Now, with that said, relief for other individuals with SSI overpayments from March 2020, September 2020, and all individuals with SSI overpayments from October 2020 through April 2023. SSA will mail a notice in spring of 2025 to all individuals who were assessed an SSI overpayment for the COVID-19 national emergency period, regardless of whether they are eligible for the waiver required by the settlement. Okay, so just as a heads up, they're going to go ahead and, mail a notice so that you're aware, if something might have happened to you outside of the prescribed period, you should be aware, maybe, hey, maybe something bad happened to you. You should go ahead and file something. The mailed notice will inform them how to seek a waiver for any overpayment and will highlight the COVID-19 related circumstances that may be relevant to SSA in determining whether they were at fault for causing the overpayment. Please visit Waive Repayment of Overpaid Social Security Benefits, SSA, to find information about the filing request for the waiver. Bottom line is this, when will I receive relief under the Campos settlement? We will notify affected class members as explained in the settlement. You can expect to receive this notification by way of a mailed notice in spring of 2025. It will take time to provide the relief described above because the size of the complexity of the settlement. Please do not contact us about the potential overpayment relief provided by this settlement prior to receiving the settlement notice in the spring of 2025. Yeah, here's the thing. This all happened because the SSA wasn't watching how their automated programs went ahead. Oh, I see Leanne there and Charlton Zimmerman. Howdy, howdy, guys. Howdy, howdy. I got to catch up with you guys, by the way. So bottom line is this. The SSA is saying, hey, we're overloaded. It's a massive amount of people that are on SSI that this happened to. We're still trying to figure it out. And the SSA is sitting there going, and we got sued. And, now we got to pay back people. And, now we got to do underpayment. Now we got to waive a bunch of yada yadas. This all happened because the Social Security Administration does not have proper automation systems that can recognize, basically SSI people having some funds from something else. And the crazy thing is that nobody's really focusing on the most important part of why this lawsuit is relevant. This lawsuit is relevant, is super relevant, because at the end of the day, it highlights that we have a program called Supplemental Security Income that forces, demands, requires you to be poor and stay poor. That's the big problem. I get it. We put people on SSI as a program of last resort. But there should be more opportunities for people on SSI to not be impoverished. The point of SSI should be to find ways to get people to become not impoverished. Not to hold them in poverty, which is exactly what happened here. The SSA's system, the automated system checking for how much you have in your bank account, just grabbed hold of claimants who are on SSI benefits and said, you got a stimulus. You're not getting monthly benefits. So the point here is we need a better system in overarching what SSI benefits are to get people who are on poverty standard systems out of poverty and then give them enough SSI time to get into a normal middle-class situation, okay? Even if they can only work a little part-time job, even if there are government funds that can be donated to them to get out of it, whatever. The point is we need better systems to get people out of poverty, not a program that crushes them continuously to make sure that they always stay poor. All right, I will catch you all a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Attorney Walter Hnot. I've got to go and do a private session and work on some phone calls. We will catch you all a little bit later. I will be live tonight to go live and answer questions for free. I couldn't do it last night. I fell asleep. I've been really tired because it was, sweetie stuff. And then, of course, the work has been extremely high. As you guys know, I am the most viewed and subscribed to disability attorney in America. Attorney Walter Hnot. Please remember to hit Google. Google is right there with disability resolution. Throw some stars up there. So just type in Disability Resolution Florida, Disability Resolution Law Firm. Also, if you need a private hour, which I'm about to do at 12, I usually set my private hours where people hire me for an hour to just pick my brain at 12, my lunch hour. With that said, the little mini contract for that private hour is below. I will catch you all a little bit later, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you later tonight. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful, wonderful upcoming weekend. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.